Living in the town of Tacoma Creek hasn't been a breeze these past few months, and it'll probably never be. Working at a fast food restaurant at the edge of town barely gives me enough to pay off my rent and buy the necessities. I never wanted to end up like this, but at the age of 31, I've lost most semblance of hope. That being said, I thought that I had seen it all. I thought my life would go on as usual. That was until I met the old man, or should I refer to him as it? The man who took 59 days, 14 hours, and 31 minutes of my life. My first encounter with him was just over 3 months ago. I still remember it as clear as day. I had just left my workplace and headed towards my apartment. I would typically enjoy these walks, since it would be the only time for relaxation in the day. The time where I would get to reflect on my day and enjoy the peace. Not today though. In the distance, I spotted an old, haggard man walking towards me. Still entranced in my thoughts, I didn't really pay attention to him. Only when he came near me did I realize how strange this man was. Now, I'm 6'2" and I'm not easily scared, but something frightened me about this man. The man seemed odd in a way I could not describe. It was like my mind perceived something else to hide the horrors that lurked behind that illusion. The man was nearly an entire foot shorter than me and was covered in dirt. He grinned at me with yellow teeth. "Hello there, no need to harm you. I have a once-in-a-lifetime offer for you," he said in a voice that did not match his appearance. Just as I tried to move, I found that I was frozen in place. I could not move my body no matter what. "Every hour of your life you sell me, I give you $1,000. It's an easy way to make money," he said while passing me over a poster. I glanced at the poster. 1 hour of your life is worth $1,000. Contact me for more information. Easy money. I gave him a glare. I was confused at the revelation, but more pissed. "What the heck is this? Are you insane?" I responded. His brows furrowed at my response. He gave me a look which said, "I've dealt with this a million times before." "Well, I might sound crazy to you, Eric, but if you want proof, I'll show you the cash." How the heck did he know my name? "How do you know my name? Have you been stalking me, you creep? I'll beat you up if you did." He walked away, off into the silent forest. Just a moment after, he returned with the suitcase. He gave me an empty smile when he returned to the sidewalk. He wordlessly rubbed off the dirt from his clothes. He unzipped the suitcase to reveal wads of cash. My eyes widened as I realized how much cash was in the suitcase. If it was real money, there must have been at least $30,000, more than I would earn in a year. "You could get this if you sell me a day of your life." My jaw fell to the floor. "Is this real money? Is this some kind of joke?" I gawked. "This is real money. If you prefer a check, that's fine." "This has to be a joke. You have to be kidding me," I said in a stunned voice. "Call the number on the poster if you want more information," he grinned, before zipping the suitcase back up and walking away. I didn't come to my senses until he was well out of sight. My mind raced as I stared, dumbfounded, off into the darkness. The next day, I went to the police station. Better safe than sorry, I thought. Thankfully, I still had the poster that the man had given to me. I reported that night's events. I told him that I had suspicions that he was a part of a drug operation, or he possibly had stolen the money. They dialed the number, but it was dead. In return, they told me that it was probably someone playing a prank, and that they would keep me updated if anything came up. Of course, nothing came of it. but this wouldn't be my last encounter. About half a week after my encounter, things started to go downhill. At first, it would be minor. I would stub my toe or be late for work, but things would soon escalate. I could not stop thinking about my encounter. I tried getting rid of my memory, but that would result in me thinking about it more. Just as I was starting to question my well-being, I met the man again. That's how I found out that this was no man, but something unearthly. I had just left my workplace at around 9 p.m. and I was enjoying the peace. That was until I looked up. I frowned and realized who it was. The old man. He was still in the same clothes and everything. He still had that grin plastered across his face. "Hey, I need to talk to you," I yelled. His grin grew wider and I started to get unnerved. Now, you might call me a baby for being afraid of a man who couldn't harm me, even if he tried. But you wouldn't feel it unless you were there. I could easily overpower this man. I tried to reassure myself, but I knew deep down that I was deeply frightened by this man. "You tried to report me to the police, didn't you?" he said in a mocking tone. "Your actions have consequences." "What? How do you know? I'm gonna call the police right now," I said in a confident tone. And then I found that I could not move, just like last time. He passed me over another poster. "Well, I appear to you as an old man, Eric, but I'm not. You see, I'm an invisible being, a ghost in simple terms. But I'm not the ghost that you think of. Instead, I borrow human bodies. In basic words, you sell me a certain amount of time, and in that time, I live inside your soul and control your every move. In exchange, I give the host goods, luck, or currency, but I do have my limitations." At this point, I was beyond weirded out. This man was beyond crazy. First off, I can only enter one's soul with their consent, but I can bring misfortunes to those who do not approve of that consent. And that brings me to the second point. I cannot kill anyone in their misfortunes, but I could cause injuries and suffering. I was more than pissed off. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Are you insane?" I hissed. He ignored me. "The trial shall start in 24 hours. In the 3-day period of your trial, bad luck shall be attracted to you. The entity will follow you everywhere that you go." He didn't specify on what the entity meant. The man simply smiled and walked away. I struggled to find words. What the heck was this man's deal? I looked at the poster that he handed me over. "The entity will arrive in 24 hours. Prepare for it. Every hour of your life you sell to me, you earn $1,000. Contact me for more info. Prepare for revenge." I must have looked like a lunatic, because a member of the neighborhood watch came up to me. "Are you alright?" a woman said, startling me out of my thoughts. "Oh, yeah, I was just heading towards my apartment," I said as I spun my head. She gave me an unconvinced look but let me go. She watched me intently as I walked down the street. The next day, I once again headed towards the police station. As I looked at the poster the man had handed to me, I noticed that something was off. "The entity will arrive in 11 hours. I could have sworn that it was 24 hours. Either way, I wasn't going to give it much thought. I handed over the poster to the officers and explained the night's events. The officers gave me a vague response, leaving me with more questions than answers. The rest of the day went as usual. I had no encounters with the man and continued with my day. That was until I got to my apartment. I read the note in shock. My heart raced. "The entity has arrived." That's what the note that was duct taped to my apartment door read. This man knew where I lived. Did he stalk me? Suddenly, I felt a presence enter the deepest parts of my soul. I felt a presence following me. From my peripherals, I saw a shadow. The shadow of something otherworldly. I turned around just to see nothing. I must be going insane. The rest of the night was spent hiding under my bedsheets on my phone. I couldn't fall asleep because of that presence. I knew this had to be a sick joke, but I was genuinely frightened at this point. The presence had malicious intentions, and I didn't want to let my guard down. 2:55 a.m. My phone clock read. My eyes were getting heavy and I was on the verge of falling asleep. All the caffeine in the world could not cure my tiredness. That's when it happened. Like something straight out of a horror movie, I heard footsteps coming from my kitchen. I don't live with anyone, so I was naturally terrified. I tried to reassure myself that the footsteps were coming from the hallway, but I couldn't bring myself to believe that. You see, my kitchen has a creaky floorboard that makes a high-pitched squeal every time someone steps on it. That's why I nearly peed my pants when I heard the high-pitched squeal that I was familiar with. My mind raced with possibilities. Had someone broken into my apartment? No, that's not possible. I didn't hear a door being opened or anything. No, it's probably coming from the hallway. My heart sank to my stomach when I heard things being shattered on the floor. Now I was certain that it was coming from my apartment unit. More things shattered on the floor as I shut my eyes. I was more than horrified. And then my door opened. I didn't dare open my eyes. I must have eventually fallen asleep, because I awoke to a mess of an apartment. Lamps were broken, plates were shattered, and my furniture was toppled over. Something must have done this. My neighbors had filed a noise complaint. According to them, at around 2:30, they were awoken by a ruckus coming from my room. Plates shattering and things being thrown around. And then after around 15 minutes, they heard loud scratching. The police came to investigate shortly after. I told them someone had broken in. I told them someone had destroyed all my belongings in the apartment. But the security cameras on the hallway said otherwise. No one had entered my apartment unit. Along with that, there were no signs of forced entry. I knew the officer thought that I had gone insane and done all of this, but I knew something otherworldly summoned by that man did it. Later that day, I got a call from my boss. Why is this happening to me? My thought as I pressed the screen to answer the call. Eric, we've hired a new employee. We won't need you to come in tomorrow. We won't need you ever, he said while chuckling. I knew he was mean, but this enraged me. He hung up before I could give him a piece of my mind. And from there, I had a full-on mental breakdown. Why me? Why does this have to be me? For a decade, I had put up with this BS, and it all resulted in this mess. One thing I've learned these past 2 months is that if anything sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. I found this out the hard way when I met the man for the 3rd time. At around midnight, somebody knocked on my door. I lazily walked to the other side of the apartment to open the door. No need to harm you, just open the door. I immediately recognized the voice. It was the old man. I got on my phone and I dialed 911. But then I noticed my phone had no reception. It really had to fail on me at the worst possible time. That won't work, the man said. How did he know that I was dialing the police? At this point, I was too fed up and I simply didn't care about anything. I gave up and decided that it would be best that I open the door. I slowly looked through the people, and as I had expected, it was the old man. He was looking right at me. I opened the door and I let him in, but this time he was different. His skin somehow resembled plastic, like what a doll is made of. My time is nearing its end, and I need another body, he said in a more raspy voice. "What do you want from me?" I yelled. He wordlessly moved to the couch. I said, "What do you want?" I moved to the couch and I sat beside him. "You've seen what the entity does, Eric. One day has passed. The next 2 days will be much worse. But you could end the trial early. All you have to do is give me life. The twist is that I will choose how long I live inside you. In that time, you could escape life and I will deal with the mess of a life that you've created. For instance, if I live in your soul for 3 months, you would get $500,000 in cash. I would be able to make your life better." A tear streamed down my cheek. This was painfully true. Even with years of hard work, I hadn't been able to get anywhere. Now I realized that nothing mattered. I didn't matter. Nothing had ever mattered. What was the point of it all? "So, Eric, do you want to make a deal?" In a selfish act that I regret, I agreed. "Good," he said while grinning. But by then, it was too late. I had made the decision that ruined my life. The second that I shook his hand, I wasn't in control of my body anymore. I was still looking through my eyes, but I was just a spectator. I couldn't control what I did. I was a prisoner in my own body. Instead of a man falling limp and switching to my body, the man grinned and I felt myself smile back and nod. That's when I figured it out. The man was scamming me. This thing wasn't a single being. This being could multiply in numbers. Reproduce, should I say. Except, it would have to reproduce in one soul. This didn't make any sense. I felt myself get off the couch and leave the apartment. The man followed close behind. It's been 2 months since then, and many things have happened. It's been exactly 59 days that the being has been in control of me, but I've been brainwashed in a way. See, I no longer have the ambitions and goals that I would have in my normal life. I've become a minion of a single, otherworldly being that is gaining power at a rapid pace. In that time, I've been able to give more people the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I was once given. I've become exactly like the man. Shows how much one could change within a year. The man who I previously thought was insane is now my role model. All I'm left with is a suitcase with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the phone I'm typing this out with. But I'm mainly here to spread the message. Selling some of your life is a great way to get rid of time you're going to spend in boredom and in the rush of the everyday rat race. It's also a great and easy way to make money. Contact me for more information. And also, don't forget, we're always here to make life easier for people like you.